Hello and welcome to Free Lesson Friday. Today's lesson we're going to be doing short division, but before we begin, please remember to like and subscribe below as it really does help. Okay, let's get on with today's lesson. So here's our warm-up activity. Pause the video here to answer the questions, and when you're ready, unpause the video and we'll go through the answers. So question number 1, 40 divided by 4. So these are fairly straightforward. If you ever see a multiple of 10 and you're dividing by the same digit, so there's a 4 there and a 4 there, then the answer is always going to be 10. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 52 divided by 4 is 13. And 84 divided by 7 is 12. So let's learn. So Tiny is using partitioning to help calculate 48 divided by 4. So just like what we did in the multiplication lesson, we're going to partition our two-digit number into tens and ones. We're going to do 40 divided by 4, which we learned from the previous slide, is 10, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So 48 divided by 4 equals 12. Okay, so we add the two answers together. Okay, the question is, how does partitioning help you divide? Okay, have a think, pause the video here, and then we'll go through. Okay, so remember, by partitioning the answer, it breaks down the numbers into easier numbers to be able to work with. So 40 divided by 4 is 10, and 8 divided by 4 is 2, which makes it easier to be able to work with them, and then you just add the answers together. Okay, so using that method, let's try and complete these ones. Okay. So we're going to partition the numbers here into numbers that divide by 4. Okay, so we've got 64. Okay, now we know that 40 is a nice easy number to divide by 4, which means what's left is 24. So the answer here is 10 and 6, which we add together to make 16. Now 75. Pause the video here to think of what tens could we split off here, which will be easy to divide by 5, and what number would be left. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure you got this right. We're going to divide that into 50 and 25. 50 divided by 5 is 10, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. Add the two together, we get 15. Okay then, so we're going to start moving on to using the bus stop method now. And here we've got completing the sentences using a place value chart. So as you can see here, we've got 39 represented in 3 tens and 9 ones. And then we're going to group, there are how many groups of 3 tens? Well, as you can see, there's only one group of 3. So now imagine grouping the ones into 3s. How many groups would you have? Pause the video here, and then when you're ready, unpause to reveal the answer. Okay, so here we go. We've got 3 groups of 3 ones. Now, as you can see, when you divide each digit in turn, you write the answer on the top. So as you can see, when we did the tens, we only had one group of 3 tens, so we put a 1 on the top. For the 9, we've got 3 groups, so 9 divided by 3 is 3, and we write a 3 on the top. And then the answer reveals itself. There's no more workings out to do. 39 divided by 3 is 13. Now, the tip I would do when using short division is keep it simple. Don't say 3 tens and 9 ones divided by 3. Literally, just state the digits that you see. So I always say, how many 3s in 3? And there's 1. And then how many 3s in 9? There are 3. And keep your language simple, okay? That way then, it doesn't matter how big the number is, it doesn't matter. You can just answer it one digit at a time. So we're going to try this one now. So what I like to do, using the method I've just said, try and group each one into 3s and then write your answer on the top, okay? And keep your language simple. So how many 3s in 3? How many 3s in 9? And how many 3s in 6? Have a go at the question, and when you're ready, unpause the video to reveal the answer. Okay, so let's have a look. So unlike all the other operations, with division, we still work left to right, unlike right to left. Okay, so we start with the hundreds here. There's only one group of 3 here, so we write a number 1 on the top. There are 3 groups in the tens, so we write a 3 on the top. And there are 2 groups of 3 on the sixes for 6, so we write a 2. Okay, so I'd like to have a go at questions 1 and 2 on the worksheet. Now, I'm going to show you a bit of a trick to use with a 100 square, because if you find division challenging because holding those numbers in your heads can be a little bit difficult, I'm going to show you how to use a 100 square to help you. Okay, so we've got here that it's 46, okay, and we partitioned it into 40 and 6, and both are divided by 2. So we're going to take each part in turn. Now we're going to use a 100 square, and this is the formula I use, and I've deliberately written it in algebra to encourage promotion of that, as will be very useful later on. So here I've done C divided by B equals A. You can replace the letters with any number. What we need to know is what do the letters represent. So the first letter, C here, will be the final circle when we draw them on the 100 square. And as we go through, you'll see what I mean. And we can replace that with the 40. And then B stands for what we're going to count in. Okay, now we're dividing in 2, so we're going to count in 2s. Now A is going to be the number of circles, so I'm going to leave that blank. And this is what I mean by the number of circles. So I'm going to scroll down a bit. Okay, so we've got our sum here, 40 divided by 2. So I'm just going to make my pen a little bit thicker. Okay, and you can use this with any division, and 100 square is fantastic for helping you with divisions. And because it's 100 square, there's no answers on there. It's literally just numbers 1 to 100. We use them all the time in my lessons. So 40 divided by 2. So we're going to count in 2s. Okay, now if you already know the pattern of 2 times table, that's brilliant. But have a go using this method, because you can use it for more complicated divisions. So what we're going to do, we're going to count in 2s. And every second number, I'm going to draw a circle. But as I'm counting, I put a dot. And this is really useful when we do more complicated divisions with remainders. So watch this. The 1, 2, 1, slight error there, sorry. 2. You keep going, counting in 2s all the way until you get to 40. Now it's really important you only do circles on the second number, because you'll be counting the circles in a second for your answer. And I use circles so that way you can still see the number underneath. If you colour them in, it makes it a bit distorted. Okay, and then our final one, 40. So now I'm going to count how many circles I've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So my answer is 20. Okay, I'm going to do it for the second part, which will be a lot easier. Okay, rub. So now I've written my answer, I'm going to rub my board clean. So you can do this at home with your own 100 square. I recommend printing one off and laminating it and using a whiteboard pen, and then you can use it again and again then to save wasting paper. Or I use a program called Paint the Squares, which you can use on an iPad, and I'll leave a link in the description below. So the second part was 6 divided by 2. So I'm going to change the colour. Let's do blue for this one. So 6 divided by 2 equals, now we know 6 is the final circle, and we're going to be counting in 2s, so we're going to do that again. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, a bit easier that time. And then my answer was the number of circles. So I've got 1, 2, 3, so my answer is 3. And then what we need to do is add them together. So on here, I record my answers. which was 20 and 3. Add them together, so 20 plus 3 equals 23. And I record my answer in the box provided. Okay. Now, for B and C, using different methods, pause the video here to have a go at them. And then when we're ready, we'll move on to question 2. Okay, question 2. So complete the sentences to describe how the place value chart shows 826 divided by 2. And this is using a similar method that I've shown before, using the 100 squares. So I want you to count the number of 200s and write your answer there. Then count the number of 10s and write the answer there. And then count the number of 1s and write your answer there. And you should see that your answers translate to this answer here. Okay, so pause the video here to complete the question. Okay, so moving on back onto the PowerPoint now. So 615 divided by 5. Now this is where, by using your dots and your circles, it'll really help you. Because then if you're doing the dot, it'll show you the remainders after the last circle, which you then carry forward to the next column. Here's what I mean. So we've got how many 5s in 6, the hundreds column, okay? So 600 divided by 5 is equal to 1 group of 5, but with the remainder 1. Okay, so we write that here. And our remainder, okay, we can exchange the 100 for 10 10s. And we show that by writing, there's our exchange, a little 1 here, just like you do in subtraction. Now we're going to find how many groups of 5 in 11. There are 2. But again, we've got 1 remainder. So we transfer that 1 over here. So it becomes, that 110 becomes 10 1s. And again, in our bus stop, we'd show that by writing a little 1 next to the 5. And it's really, really important that when you're doing your exchanges, the ones which represent 10 are little and they're written next to the digit that they're exchanged into. Okay, so it's always written on the left-hand side. So then you look at that number and you read it as a whole. So that's 11 and that's 15. Okay, so it's really important with maths. We do really have to work on neatness, okay, and being precise, because maths is a very accurate subject. Okay, it's either right or it's wrong. So it's really important that you work on this method, get it correct. Okay, and then we look at how many 5s are there in 15. So we count the 5s, we've got 1, 2, and 3, and we write a 3 on the top and no remainders. Okay, this worksheet, there are no remainders at the end of your final digit. If you do have any remainders, you may have made a mistake. That's worth double checking. Okay, let's do the same now with this method, with this one. So 536 divided by 4. So again, how many 4s in 5? There's one group. So we write the 1 there. Excuse me a second. Okay, so I've started you off. Pause the video here and see if you can complete the rest of the question. Remember to write your exchanges as little ones next to the digits. Okay, let's go through the answers. So we know we've got to do an exchange because we have 1 remainder here, which goes into this one. So we've got 1, 2, 3 groups of 4. But again, we've got 1 remainder, so we exchange it into here. And now we have 16, where you've got 4 groups of 4. And there's your answer. So our total answer is 134. Right, pause the video here to have a go at these divisions. Okay, let's have a look. So our answer for that one is 142. And the answer for this one is 92. Now notice here for this one, because this digit is less than what we're dividing by, it's always going to be 0. Okay? A bit like subtraction where you've got to take away from the bigger digits. Here you've got to divide from bigger digits. Okay, so here you can't do 5 divided by 6. So we put a 0 on the top and we carry that 5 over. Now I would cross it out as well. I'd cross out this big 5 and write the little 5 there to show that it's been moved over. It's exchanged over. Then it was 6 into 55, which was 9. And then 6 into 12 is 2. Okay, time to have a go. Questions 3 to 4. Okay, so for question 3, the groups have already been drawn for you, and the exchange is shown here. So all you need to do is count the number of groups and write them on the top here, but also remember to show that exchange here, okay? Because it's no longer a 2, what does it become? Pause the video here, and then we'll move on to question 4. Okay, moving on to question 4 now. So there are 6 parts to this one. I'll model the first one. So how many 3s in 6? I'm going to use 100 squared to show this. So it's 690. So how many 3? Let's rub this bit up. So how many 3s in 6? So I'm going to be counting in 3s. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There are 2. So go back to my question. There are 2. Then how many 3s in 9? So I'm going to carry on with this one. 1, 2, 3. There are 3. And then 0, you can't divide by anything. So whenever you get to 0, it's always 0 as an answer. Okay, now I just want to do one more to show what happens with an exchange. Okay, so I'm going to do B. So here it's 2 into 9. Okay, so let's just rip off my board. So how many 2s in 9? So I'm going to count in 2s. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So I'm going to stop at 9. Now, as you can see, there are 4 circles. So the answer is 4, but there's 1 remainder here. Okay, this is why it's so important to still do the dots, because that shows that there's 1 left over. And I can show that in my answer. So it was 4 with remainder 1. Okay, I'll leave you to do the rest on that one. So pause the video here to complete the rest of the questions. Okay, moving on to the next part of the PowerPoint. So Tiny is working out 725 divided by 5. Okay. So he's saying, so he's done the 7 and then the 5 first, but left the 2. And he's gone, well, 725 divided by 5 is 11. I think he's made a mistake there. Pause the video here to have a think. Okay, so as you can see, he still should have tried to divide the 2 and he's forgotten the exchange. So, okay, he should have put the 2 here to done 5 into 22, which would have been 4, but we left 2 remainder, which would have been 5 into 25, which was 5. Okay, so it should be 145 is the answer. Okay, here we've got the missing numbers. Okay, so we're going to work a bit backwards here. So, okay, so as you can see, here 7 was divided by number and there were 2 lots of them. We don't know what the divider is, but there was also 1 left over. Okay, so and then if we look here, 14 was divided by something, which gave us answer 4, but there were 2 left over. Okay, now we know there's no exchange. So here we've got 24. Now we know that there is no exchange here. There's no remainder at the end. So 24 will divide completely. So if we think of the numbers that are in the 2 times table, 24 divides by. So every number divides by 1, so we don't do that one. Let's start with 2. Well, 2 divides by it. So going back to the beginning, what does if we do 7 divided by 2, that would give us 3 remainder 1. Okay, 2, 4, 6 is 3 with 1 remainder, but then our answer here would be 3. So it can't be divided by 3. So let's think. Let's try 3, because 24 also divides by 3. So 3, 6 gives us 2 with 1 remainder. So that's 1, so possibly 3. Let's try 3 into 14. 3, 6, 9, 12 with 2 remainders gets 14. So we know our divider must be 3, and therefore 24 divided by 3 is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So our answer is 8. There we go. What calculation could go next in the pattern? So pause the video here to have a think. Okay, so if we look at our answers, we've got 459 divided by 3 gives an answer of 153. 462 divided by 3 gives us an answer of 154. Okay, because this one is 3 bigger than this one, which means our answer is only one bigger than the previous one. So here we've got 775 divided by 5. So here, because our answer is going 153, 154, 155, here we've got 156. So we needed something. So 468 divided by 3 would have given us the answer of 156. A little bit tricky, that one, but I hope you got it. Okay, so looking for the pattern in the answers. Okay, and now it's time to have a go at the rest of the worksheet. So, oops, sorry, down here. Question 5. Okay, write the less than, more than, or equal symbols to compare divisions. Now, with these, always write the answers underneath before you compare them, because then it makes it much easier, and then you've got something to check. So let's quickly do the bus stop. 5, 6, 8. So how many 4s in 5? 1 with 1 remainder. 4s into 16 is 4, and 4s into 8 is 2. Then do 675 divided by 3. So 3s into 6 is 1. 3s into 7 is 2 with 1 remainder, and 3s into 15 is 5. So as you can now see, 142 is greater than 125. Do the same for B. So pause the video here and then move on to question 6. Okay, question 6. Okay, so for A, we've got the nice and easy one. We've already got the divider, so we can fill in the answers. So 3s into 4 is 1 with 1 remainder. Okay, so there's no exchange here. So 3s into 6, 2. So I'm going to use the inverse. So rather than doing divide, I'm going to do times. And I know that 3 times 4 is 12. Well, I've already shown my 10 there with the exchange. So I'm going to put in the units, and that's going to be the 2. Pause the video here to have a go at question B. Okay, question 7 now. Tiny, bless him, is trying to work out 427 divided by 3. Now we know that 3 is going to 4 once, which is brilliant. And he's put here 3 into 2 is 0. I think he's made a mistake. Have a look closely. Pause the video here to identify this mistake Tiny has made, and then write the correct answer underneath. Okay, and question 8. Use DigiCards to write your own division. So I'll leave you to have a go at that one. Pause the video here, and then we'll go through the answers. Okay, so going through the answers now. Oh, a bit too far. So I've already gone through part A. 1A was 23. B, share these place value counters. Okay, so the trick is to do one at a time. So I'm going to go, say, write them in numbers. So the yellows for the 10s and then reds for the 1s. So I've got my 4 10s shared out, and then I'm going to go my red 1s now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as you can see, each one, there are 2 10s and 3 1s, so that's 23. And then here, we're going to be doing the grouping. So there's 1, 2 groups of 10 there, and 1, 2, 3 groups of 1s, 2 1s there. So all the answers are 23. Up to you which method you prefer. I always prefer using the 100 square. Okay. Oops, sorry. So going here, as you can see, there are four groups of 200s, 1 group of 2 10s, and 3 groups of 2 1s. So the answer is 430. You just literally put the digits together. Okay. Question 3, you can count the groups here. They look like L-shaped Tetris pieces. So you've got 2 groups here, put 3 into 6. You've got 1 group there with 1 exchange, and then there's 4 groups there, and then the answer is 214. So if you take division 1 digit at a time, the answers just take care of themselves. Okay, so moving on to question 4. 2 into 12 is 6, and 2 into 4 is 2, and the answer is 462. Question C, 3 into 6 is 2. 3 into 4 is 1 with 1 remainder. 3 into 15 is 5, so 215 is the answers there. For D, 5 goes into 5 once. Now, don't do what Tiny did and go straight to the end one. Still stick with this. 5 into 6 goes once, but 1 remainder. 5 into 15 goes 3 times. For E, 4 into 8 goes twice. It goes once into 5 with 1 remainder, and 4 into 16 is 4 times. And then F, 3 into 4 goes once with 1 remainder. 3 into 13 is 4 times with 1 remainder, and 3 into 12 is 4. We've already done part A for question 5. Part B, so we're going to do the bus stop. 612. 3 into 6 is twice. You can't do 3 into 1, but 3 into 12 goes 4 times. And then this one over here, 816. 4 into 8 goes twice. It doesn't go into 1. However, 4 into 16 goes 4 times. As you can now see, both answers are equal. And that's the beauty. Always do the calculations of comparison questions. You should always do your workings out anyway, but definitely with comparison questions. Okay, so question 6 now. So we've already done A. B, as you can see here, there's a number, well, they haven't shown the exchanges. Okay, so I'm going to practice. Okay, so we know that 5 leaves 2, but there's probably a remainder because 5 is an odd number. So we're going to start with 2. Well, 2 goes into 5 twice with 1 left over. Okay, so we're going to do a bit of trial and error, see if this works. 5 goes into 2 goes into 13. I'm going to put 2 there actually, so remind me. So 2 goes into 13 6 times with 1 remainder. And we've got to think, well, what does 2 go into to leave 8? We're going to use the inverse and multiply them. So 8 times 2 is 16. Well, I've already got my exchange, my 10 there. So I'm going to put a 6 there, and that works. Question 7. Tiny's forgotten to exchange. So he has forgotten to exchange. Okay, and I'm going to highlight that there. So now I'm going to do the correct method. So 427 divided by 3. 3 into 4 goes once, 3 with 1 exchange. 3 into 12 goes 4 times. Oh, this one has got a remainder. And 3 into 7 goes twice, remainder 1. Now, apologies, I did say there was no remainders. This is a tricky one. Okay. So the correct answer is 142, remainder 1. A sneaky one there. Apologies for that one. Okay. And use the digit cards to write a division of your own. Okay. So now the trick is with this sort of thing, 538, because 8 is an even number, I know it will definitely divide by 2. So then I can do the answer. So 2 into 5 goes twice with 1 remaining. 2 into 13 goes 6 times with 1 remaining. 2 into 18 goes 9. So there's my answer, but I'm sure you come up with your own. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it and learned something from it. If you're interested in one-to-one maths tuition with myself, I do from Key Stage 1 all the way up to GCSE, then click on the Facebook link down below and message me and we can arrange a date. I am not only a maths teacher, but I'm also an SEN specialist. So I have a level 2 in understanding autism and understanding children and young people's mental health. So I do have a broad range of experience. And thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.